How great is the Wind Temple in Tears of the Kingdom? If we're going to talk about the Wind Temple, we're first going to talk about the frozen Rito Village. The first impression I got from the frozen Rito Village is that it is frozen, it's isolated, and it's empty. One of Nintendo's biggest strengths with Legend of Zelda is their ability to tell a story with music. And I think the Frozen Rito soundtrack in this area really drives home the raw emotion and like the loss that you're supposed to feel about this area. The song really feels like you're just getting hit with a cold breeze. One of the first things that I've noticed when going into the village is that there's only kids there, except for the elder and his wife, I believe, were there too. If you talk to the kids in the town, they are singing a song of the song of the Stormwind Arc. We'll learn a little bit more about that later down the line. Making our way up to the top of the village, we get to meet our sidekick? Tolan, young Rudo warrior. Tolan is the son of the elder Tiba from Breath of the Wild. Tolan is rebellious, strong. He's a kid who thinks he knows everything, but ultimately he really just wants his father's approval. And the best thing about Tolan is that his English voice actor is Killua's voice actor from Hunter x Hunter.
That's not fair at all. You know I can handle it. Checking out that huge cloud wouldn't be hard. I could even do it alone.
Now, when I was playing through this, I didn't actually know that, but the voice just sounded so familiar to me. I was just like, what is this? Who is this? And then eventually I looked it up, and yeah, it's Killua's voice actor. I was halfway expecting him to say Gon or something throughout this thing. Now, after talking to Tiba and Tolan kind of runs away in, I don't know, he's kind of like having a tantrum of some sort, and he kind of runs away off into, you know, some cave to go do his duty. And this is the beginning of the Tolan story arc, or, you know, what leads up to essentially the Wind Temple. So this brings us to task number 1. We have to find Tolan. Tolan escaped from his dad and is going to search for food in a cave. And as we make our way through the cave, we end up realizing that he's not actually there, and we actually find him on top of a mountain where he has lost his bow. His bow was stolen from him when he wasn't looking. So naturally, we help Tolan fight these goons, and he tells us that he can use his ability to command the wind. After fighting these goons, Tolan realizes that he cannot do everything by himself, and sometimes having, you know, a helping hand is the best option. And ultimately, with that realization, it allows him and Link to go to the center of the storm, which is where the Wind Temple is. So we are given the mission to go into the storm cloud, which is causing the permanent winter or permanent frost on the Rito Village, and to try to save the day for the Rito Village. Now, the only way to get into this storm cloud is to go in through the top of it. You can't go through the sides, you can't go through the bottom. So that is kind of a daunting task in and of itself. If you think about it, we have to make our way to, you know, above the storm and drop in through the top. So naturally, we scale the floating runes and make our way into the storm, aka the Rising Island Chain. Now here in the Rising Island Chain, we get to use these floating airships as like a trampoline type thing, or like as platforms, you could say, to basically hop and jump and glide our way. And I will have to say, the visuals of this floating storm and all the ships and stuff that are, you know, flying around it and, you know, circling this whole storm is it's quite daunting, and it's quite exciting. You know, the first time you just look up and you're just like, wow, what a spectacle. And I absolutely just love the setting of having to jump from one ship to another with like thousands of feet drop below you. You know, it's a good thing Link's not afraid of heights, because this game would not be good for him. And, you know, just looking down, and if you just make that one mistake, you're dropping. You know, it really adds some stakes in the game. As we get closer and closer to the top, the weather gets to be extremely cold, which if you do not have the clothing for it, it puts a timer on, you know, your journey to the top, And in my case, I had a potion for this, so I had 8 minutes to get to the top, which it put a little bit of extra pressure on the mission and kind of made it more exciting. Again, I'm going to reiterate just how such a cool idea this is, to have a swarm of airships circling the storm, and you have to scale these airships to get to the top to fly in. Such a cool idea. And then as soon as you get to the top, as soon as you break that barrier and get above the storm, everything is calm. Oh, that's cool. I like how it just changes. Then we enter the Wind Temple. And we enter the Wind Temple in style. Literally the coolest entrance into any temple. You just skybomb down straight through the eye of the storm, right into the temple. And I can't emphasize this enough. The visuals and the music and the whole experience of just climbing those airships made it for a really climactic moment when you were dropping in. Yo, that's such a cool entrance. The Wind Temple. The legendary Stormwind Arc. Now this is a part of the video where we're gonna dog on Nintendo for a little bit. Basically the Wind Temple, and as far as I know, all the temples in this game are just Divine Beast 2.0. Instead of terminals, this time we have 6 wind turbines that we have to use Toland's special wind ability to help turn to unlock a big door in the center of the arc. The Wind Temple also had, you know, typical Breath of the Wild, you know, engaging puzzles. And let's not forget my cool bomb barrel shield jump like a pro, like this. Oh, that worked! And that Mission Impossible drop through the lasers. All right, now we just gotta make our way down. Easy enough. But in all honesty, if you compare this Wind Temple, like just the temple, to other temples in the past, it seems like they gave a lot more character and a lot more, you know, love to the other temples. You know, this temple had a really cool lead up to, you know, to the temple, but then it's just like everything's all stone. It's all like just a stone ship in the sky, and it really is just similar to a Divine Beast, you know, similar to Breath of the Wild. And that is one like hope that I really wish they would have done, is that I wish they would have given these temples some character. You know, the temples themselves. You know, the lead up to this was perfect. I loved it. But, you know, I was a little disappointed in the actual design of the temple. Even though I was a little bit disappointed with the basic design of the temple, the boss, however, really brings it home. The Scourge of the Wind Temple, Colgera. Oh, darn. Heck yeah.
Okay, let's go.
Oh boy. Colgera? What is up with...
That thing must be what's causing the blizzard.
Oh my god.
We've got to take it down.
Let's go, Toland, let's go! Now, what an epic fight this was. This is definitely a fight to remember. Now, from my understanding, there are 2 ways you can fight this boss. The first way is, you know, you could go into bullet time and shoot the little ice cracks and shoot the little purple, you know, orbs on this Colgera's chest, and, you know, break it that way. Or, as I found out later in the depths when you can fight these guys again, if you hover above them, the Colgera will shoot spikes at you. And if you dodge the spikes, you can skydive through them and break it that way. Now that is a very unique way you can fight a boss, and I will commend Nintendo for that. That was a very, very fun boss, and I will remember it. This boss did give me some Estelle vibes from Elden Ring, and I don't know how I feel about that. This boss also had a phase 2, and after you get his health down past halfway, it adds tornadoes into the mix, which you have to dodge as well. Upon defeating this Colgera, we gain our heart container, and Tolan, he becomes the next Wind Sage. We get to see the old Wind Sage from the past, and also we get to see a cutscene of all the sages in the past fighting Ganon. After this cutscene, Tolan obtains the tear. Now, upon obtaining these tears, it must like impart some knowledge onto the whoever owns or is holding the tear, because after this, Tolan pretty much is able to like summon his sage spirit, in which he like gives to us via a contract.
Happened here on Saturday night's main event, the Mega Powers, the Madness, Macho Man Randy Savage, and the heavyweight.
After all is said and done, Tolan goes to meet his dad, where he gets his full approval, and thus concluding the Tolan story arc. All in all, I really enjoyed the whole Wind Temple. If I was to give it a rating, I would probably give it a solid 7 out of 10. Hey guys, editor LannyG here. After reviewing all the footage of the Wind Temple, I realized that I should have given it a 8 or 8.5 out of 10. I didn't realize all the comparisons that this temple had with the older Wind Temple from Wind Waker, which is why I felt the need to say this. Well, better luck next time, LannyG. What really docked it was the lack of design of the temple itself. It really was just all pretty much stone. It had no real character. It just was like a Divine Beast 2.0. And that just didn't really sit well with me. However, the entire experience of like the build up to the temple and the boss fight and everything was amazing, and I couldn't be happier about that part. That's all I got for you guys today. Hopefully you enjoyed my review of the Wind Temple, and make sure to comment down below what you think of the Wind Temple. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.